What's going on, guys? Evil Gaming 48 here, and I'd like to thank you for joining us for Force Fridays special roundtable discussion. I stream Force Fridays every Friday night on Twitch/Evil Gaming 48. Anyways, let's get right to it. Okay, so we can all hear everybody. Welcome everyone. It is Force Fridays and it is Evo Gaming, and we have a special event tonight. It is Friday. We have three very special guests tonight, and I don't normally have a lot of people on for Force Fridays, but we have just above me, we have Mina. To the left of her, we have Lord Dagavir, and below Lord Dagavir, we have Senpai Nick. And tonight, they're going to join me in a special roundtable event just to kind of expose their Star Wars knowledge. How is everybody?
Pretty good. Hi.
Good.
Mina, Nick. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you guys. It's been me and Dagavir and Nick have all been kind of chatting it up, just kind of throwing it out there that eventually we're going to make something happen, and we're finally doing it. It's finally going to happen. And I just kind of want to introduce everyone. We'll start with Mina. She has curiously got me as soon as she pulled a lightsaber on stream, and I can see it hanging behind her. What's going on, Mina? Introduce yourself to the king.
Hi, I'm Mina. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, so please don't chastise me.
Uh-oh.
It is okay. It is completely okay. To the left of her, we have Lord Dagavir. With Lord Dagavir.
My headphones are everywhere, so I'm sorry if I look like a goofball, so I apologize, yeah?
No, you're okay. Lord Dagavir has been kind of popping off on YouTube. I noticed today that he has we'll just leave it at 2,000 followers on YouTube, and he's been kind of full of knowledge with anything Star Wars lately.
Some days it depends.
That's
like
a good way to go.
Yeah.
What?
It depends. No, I don't know. Sometimes I'm a know-it-all, then sometimes I forget that one Legends book that I read like 10 years ago, you know.
And then just below him, we have Senpai Nick. Oh, he's vanished. He has vanished on us.
Is this sound?
Oh no, he doesn't know what it is.
Fixed it.
Oh, there it is.
Fixed it.
There it is.
Fixed it. You gotta love Windows updates at the last minute. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm ancient, and I'm from a time before there was anything besides 3 Star Wars movies.
Yo.
You're not ancient. Everybody has their times, right? Right? My dad is running in his late 40s, and he's probably one of the oldest Star Wars fans that I know.
That's hype, fam.
Let's
go.
So I kind of just want to jump right into it. My first topic, I'm going to come to you each individually. We're going to go kind of clockwise, and I'm going to start with Nick. But my first question, this one has been a big question. It kind of popped off on Instagram.
Uh-oh.
Nick, I see your face. It's okay. I might have did something wrong there. But
No, I was trying to figure it out. I was like, that's clockwise. You're good. You're good.
But my biggest question that I always ask people that I bring onto the channel is, what brought Star Wars into your life? Was it a person? Was it was it like an action figure? Was it a movie in particular?
Yeah, it was my dad, 100%. Besides me, he's probably the biggest nerd I know. He's into everything. There isn't like, you know how you get the people that are like Star Wars or Star Trek, things like that. Like, he likes it all. There isn't a nerd thing that he hasn't been into. He read me The Hobbit when I was little. We watched Dune and read Dune together. So like I grew up watching the original trilogy. I remember I was probably 5 or 6 when they started like re-releasing the original trilogy in theaters with like the 4 seconds of new footage and like the remastered stuff. So I remember going to that as a kid. So it's like it's just been in my life since as long as I can remember.
That's really awesome, man. It always starts with like something simple. Like I I I apologize, Dr. Blue Jay. Chewbacca screaming in my ear. To me, my dad had always, at one point in time, had forced me to watch A New Hope, and I watched A New Hope, and then right around the time that I could really understand what Star Wars was, I think Revenge of the Sith was getting ready to come out.
Wow.
And my mom had brought home a box of Yoda cereal, and it had the little lightsaber spoon in it.
I remember those. Oh my god.
I remember those.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure if I went searching for it, I still have it.
Dang. Let's go.
Lord Dagobert, tell me what brought Star Wars into your life?
Yeah, I feel like it's actually kind of difficult to remember that one thing that brought it into life, because I think as we're all growing up, you watch the movies, they're always being played on like TNT and things like that,
Mhm.
and I always remember the snow movie, Empire Strikes Back, and I think when I was younger, that was the one I always remembered, because you have the reveal of who Darth Vader is, and then look, the main character gets his hand chopped off, and then it's snowing, and then similar to Nick, you have the re-release of the original trilogy in theaters, and then I remember the Phantom Menace, a couple years after that, and Darth Maul comes out with his horns and everything. He looks like a devil with freaking red laser swords, and yeah, fam, that was it. Star Wars was just like a kind of life after that, So,
Yeah,
I think that was
absolutely.
my first midnight like movie that I stood in line
Yeah.
for with my dad.
yeah.
Like as a kid,
Oh
like stayed
my
up
God.
super late.
Yeah,
Can-
I remember being such a little poop, and I think I watched it with my family and friends, and I was like so tired after this, and I just kept thinking about, wow, dude, that red guy killed people, So that's all I remember. That's what I remember from that instance.
I remember when Darth Maul first came on the scene, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is crazy.
And then he dies.
And then he gets chopped in half,
Yeah.
which later in the Clone Wars you see he somehow magically comes back.
Yeah.
You can't kill him.
Yeah.
I had to wait a long time for that payoff.
Definitely.
Yes.
Huge.
Okay, so Mina, what brought Star Wars into your life?
Yeah, so like a lot of you guys said, Phantom Menace, definitely my first Star Wars movie I ever watched. I mean, I was only like 4. And I'll never forget, it was like at the time where like, they just got like the IMAX is like probably way too early then. But like, like the super loud music in, and I remember I had to actually wear like headphones or like earmuffs because it was just too loud.
Oh, wow.
And then like as soon as the fight came out with like Darth Maul, obviously I took them off and I was like, oh my god, this is like. And then after that, we bought like the box set on VHS, and I remember my dad and I, like every single day, we would rewatch Star Wars all the time, and it was just like, you had to rewind it, and yeah, I remember that. Good times.
I still remember when Star Wars came out to Blu-ray, and getting a Blu-ray disc was so big at the time. Like, my dad would smack me around just saying, you'll never understand a VHS movie.
Yeah, don't have to rewind it anymore, bro.
Sure.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just go straight to the menu, play again. Yeah.
So this kind of leads into my next question. Again, we'll start with Nick and just kind of work our way around. It's another individual. Nick, what was your fondest Star Wars memory, other than standing in line for a movie or a midnight release?
Honestly, I think it was probably as a kid, like the thing I tie the most to Star Wars besides the movie itself is the action figures. I was crazy into collecting those. I could buy almost 2 with like a week's allowance because back then they were like $3.96 plus tax. And like even the vehicles were very affordable compared to like other action figures back then. So it was just like, I don't know. I've always had money on my mind, I guess. But I loved collecting the action figures, obviously like playing with them. I wish technology would have been a little more ahead of the time like it is now, because I totally would have been one of those kids making like stop motion videos with my action figures. But it's still like my parents still have them all in a Rubbermaid in their basement. Like I'll never let them get rid of them. It's that's probably the biggest thing I've ever associated with Star Wars for sure is the action figures. And then like lights, like toy lightsabers. Like I have a whole collection of those, not like Mina's, but like the janky like throw it out type ones.
Listen, you'll never get tired of a throwaway lightsaber. Well, not really a throwaway, but a lightsaber that you just toss out and just poke somebody in the eye with the lightsaber that extends out. I'm sorry.
Dude, you're so right though.
My little brother and I used to get him all the time, and he would come up, and he was a little tiny thing back then, and just try and beat me with this lightsaber. And it was so much fun. Dagavir, what was your fondest Star Wars memory?
Okay, I'm gonna totally like not list one and list like four. So I'm sorry.
Okay, go for it.
So I can definitely remember like when Revenge of the Sith was coming out, because I'm a prequel boy, I guess, whatever. And Anakin Skywalker was the homie. I was like, yeah, bro, let's go, Anakin. And I just remember waiting. At the time, that movie theater was where I had seen all the prequels, which was a pretty rare thing for me because we were always moving like every 6 months, 7 months, always out of these different houses. I had no friends, so it was like it was really bad. So that one movie theater was kind of where I watched everything. I also watched The Force Awakens there as well. Yes, and I really loved Revenge of the Sith. Like I just remember it was the first time I kind of experienced like what like an actual release was. There were so many people dressing up and they had lightsabers, and I was like, oh wow, grown-ups do this, okay, So so that was really cool. And then The Force Awakens, because I love Star Wars so much, and I think when Revenge of the Sith had come out, that's when I obsessed. I was just like, oh my God, I got to start reading comics. I got to start playing video games. I just had to get all the knowledge, And, there was a long time there where we didn't have no Star Wars movies. So The Force Awakens was like, it's happening again, like we get to see so much more of what we love, and just being there and having the experience to buy the ticket myself. And the most recent is definitely Rise of Skywalker. Like I did not like Rise of Skywalker as a movie. But it was nice to like I spent the whole day at Galaxy's Edge, and I was waiting for the movie, and I was with my girlfriend. It was just kind of like picture perfect, for everything that happened, because I was like kind of homeless for like a couple of years. So like that was like the point where like everything was getting better, and so I was just like, yeah, bro. We started strong, we finished strong, and not with the movie, but it's just I really enjoyed all of those experiences and going to the movies with the greatest franchise of all time, baby. So.
I could not disagree at all with the greatest franchise comment. I still to this day, like Amanda, who is my significant half, she's a big Harry Potter fan. And
gotcha.
It's very hard to try and interlude the two together, because I can't get her to sit down and watch Star Wars, and she can't get me to sit down and watch Harry Potter.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mina, we've heard Nick and Dagavir's greatest memory. What was your fondest memory?
Well, mine's I didn't have like a lot of stuff as a kid, just because I did live in a very small, tiny little town. So like all those, premieres and stuff growing up, like they didn't really have all of that, unfortunately. And then, but I remember playing on, and I'm really bad at names. Okay, so on the Game Boy, remember the, where you would like fly around in little plane, and or what is it? And then you would. Oh my gosh! Why am I blanking? You guys can correct me and jump in.
Pod Racer? Are you talking about the Pod Racer game? I don't even know if the Pod Racer game is on.
It was the. Oh my gosh! You literally just said it. You're like the Snow Planet, and then.
Oh, Hoth. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember playing that quite a few times, and it was so clunky, and then you would, like, knock down the little AT-ATs, and it was just so clunky and so bad, but it was amazing, you know, because at the time you're like, whoa, Star Wars, and I
Yeah.
get to take it with me, and it was, like, awesome. And so I definitely think, like, even though the games were so no, don't get mad at me, but so bad at the time that I definitely like enjoyed those. And then of course like going to San Diego Comic-Con as an adult all those years, like it was so awesome. Like you walk around, you see all the costumes that they have like on set, like from Rogue One, and then you're like, wow, that's so cool. And then like after that, I remember and then of course, like you said, Galaxy's Edge, like, oh my god, I spent so much money there. Like I was paying for it months after. But I remember I just went broke over. Fun times though. I feel like it's just so much easier to enjoy as an adult for sure though.
I definitely agree. Excuse me. I kind of to tail off with your memory there. Speaking of video games, when I was younger, and bear with me here, when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real,
Bro.
He is.
What?
Excuse
Okay,
me?
okay.
Hello?
Bear with me here. Okay. I walked downstairs to get a glass of water, and my dad had actually been playing Star Wars Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars game, on PS2. And that was one of the very first Star Wars games that I played. That kind of led into everything else. But I want to say my favorite memory as far as Star Wars was after Revenge of the Sith came out, Star Wars Battlefront 2 had just released. It was the original Battlefront 2, not the new one. My mom had taken me to Toy Store. I think it was Toy Store? Toys R Us. And we grabbed the game disc. And I just see Dagavir just dying right now.
Yeah, sorry.
I just remember grabbing the game disc and holding the case in my hands the whole way home, just so excited to play the game because the first one and the movie were so good that I just could not wait to play the game. Like it was, I don't think I could ever react to another game that way, ever. Anyways, now this one, and Dagavir, you and I kind of touched on it a little bit before we started here. This one's more of an open discussion. Given the current state of Star Wars, which we know we all ended at the very last movie that just came out. Given the current Star Wars state, everything going on, especially after the Gina Carrero firing and Darthleen Kennedy, and I'm going to keep saying Darthleen Kennedy because I personally think that she could be good and bad. She could be good and bad. From what I've been reading, she has been denying a lot of things up and coming. But how do you guys feel about the up and coming shows that are getting ready to come out, such as Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Bad Batch? Bad Batch is coming very soon. I'll go ahead and open it up for any kind of discussion here.
Yeah. I don't want to go first because I feel like I'm going to be in the minority. Or usually I just can't shut up, so I'll probably just go last.
Nick?
I'm really excited about Bad Batch. That's one of my favorite little string of episodes from the Clone Wars. They're such interesting characters. And I'm almost glad it's a cartoon. I don't know if you could really do those characters justice like in real life.
I don't think so.
You can go like balls out with their craziness as cartoon characters. That one's going to be exciting. I'm obviously really excited to see Ahsoka's story. She's probably one of my favorite characters of all time. And
Absolutely.
just, like, the more we get to fill in what happened to her while she was gone is like, I'm here for it. I didn't really care about the Gina Carano show. I don't know if they're still going to do it. I just didn't care. Like, I'll probably still watch it because I watch everything, but that was probably the lowest on my totem of like things I was excited for. And then like any Boba Fett story's cool. I just hope they balance it out and we still get enough like stuff with the new characters. Like I don't want them to just like totally focus on Boba Fett for a whole season.
I completely agree. I don't think they could really pull off a live action Bad Batch, and I really loved how they kind of threw them in there in the last season of the Clone Wars, which I don't think anything could really beat season 7. And that's my honest opinion. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that could actually beat it, but my honest opinion.
They bring a lot of levity to it, though. You know,
Yes.
like it's a really heavy season, and
It is.
They bring just a little bit of lightheartedness to it.
It gets very emotional. It gets very serious. It's just like when you're watching what I think it was the last 4 episodes, you feel so involved in the story that you can't get out. You can't get out. There's no escape to it.
I don't want to. I mean, I want to relive it, but I don't. You know, even though I watch it like every week. Oh God.
Mina, do you got any say? How do you feel about the up and coming shows?
I don't know. I really hope they kind of do him justice. Like Bad Batch, I don't know. I really hope not, but I hope they can't. There's like no possible way to ruin that. But like as far as, you know, like Obi-Wan and, you know, Boba Fett, it kind of scares me just because, you know, like in the last 2 movies, George Lucas tried giving them all direction. They're like, hey, no, we're not taking any of that, sorry. And so I'm like, you can't really change their stories, but who knows? They're probably going to try to change their stories, and that's absolutely terrifying, but I guess we won't really find out until, you know, we watch them. But I mean, I'm really, really hoping they do well.
I really feel that with the Bad Batch, they can't really go wrong. I mean, they can go very wrong, but I think coming off of the Clone Wars series, especially with a season like season 7, I think personally that it's gonna put closure to a lot of things, and I think that's gonna help me feel better about the situation. But I kind of have a feeling they're gonna tie it into the Ahsoka series just to kind of play off, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Dagavir, I cannot wait to hear your insight.
Can I jump in really quick
Yeah,
before
yeah.
Dagavir does his thing? I think Rogue One really set the table too for Bad Batch. Like we know it's not going to end well. We know we never heard of these characters again. Something happens to them. So I don't want to say like I hate happy endings, but it's cool when you know that a story is going to just be completely wrapped up in itself, that it isn't going to constantly continue on, have more sagas. Like Rogue One was really cool in that you knew it wasn't going to have a happy ending. You knew things were going to be the worst at the end. And it was still such a good movie. Like I love Rogue One. It's probably one of my favorite Star Wars stories that's not like directly linked to the Star Wars or the Skywalker saga. So that's what I'm really excited about with the Bad Batch is like now we have the president set for like an unhappy ending that they can really just go balls out, and that final episode can be like pretty heart shattering, but give us a lot of really good closure.
I completely agree. Because you don't really, I mean, you kind of threw me off with the Rogue One topic, but Rogue One does actually, yes, it is a very good movie. Probably one of the best endings to a movie, in my opinion. I have a lot of opinions.
Vader, it's an amazing ending. And
Yes.
then you add in the Vader scene, and it's like, you can't really top it. It's such a good ending to a movie.
Yeah. Which is so good, too, because that scene actually wasn't even going to be in the movie. It was going to be, I think it was going to be replaced with Krennic getting choked by Darth Vader instead. So, you know, and it's just like, yeah, that's cool too. But at the same time, man, this is like prime time Darth Vader, you know, going in and, oh boy, Rebels, you ready? You know?
I think they could have. Now, hear me out. I think that they could have done a little more. I mean, we've all read the Vader comics, right?
Yeah.
We've all read the Vader comics.
Oh, yeah.
I think that they could have, you know, they did a really good job portraying his as much darkness as Darth Vader has. I think at one point they were actually going to show more, but they took some of that out and then just implemented this final scene. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so hard for me to say because I really, I guess it's gonna harp into everything that I like about what Kathleen has been doing. It's funny because like I know am I like a fan of the sequels? I mean, yeah, sure. I wasn't really hype about Last Jedi. I wasn't really hype about Rise of Skywalker. But Rogue One was damn good. So was The Force Awakens. There's a lot of good that she did. I only hope that whatever next sequel happens is that there's just a great vision to go along with it. But all these other shows I feel like are fantastic. I mean, even with the sequel trilogy, every single movie made $1 billion, right? That's huge success. That's still a huge success. I think the only Star Wars movie that couldn't do that was Solo, and that's because everybody was trying to boycott it after The Last Jedi. But when it comes to like Rogue One, I feel like I think they were really good, just harping on these characters, original characters that we've never heard before. Because I feel like at times Star Wars can get a little watered down when you start bringing back characters. I love Vader. I love Vader so much, but I don't want to see Vader like all the time.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the Bad Batch. I don't think you're gonna go wrong at all because you got David Filoni doing all that, and he does what he does best. With that animation, and yeah, Clone Wars season 7. Oh my God, my heart. And I'm pretty sure Bad Batch is basically gonna be like Bad Batch Rogue One. You might as well just call it that, because I don't see these characters living past that. I'm still excited for Rangers of the Republic because I feel like even without Cara Dune, there's so many characters you can bring in, like Hera Syndulla, maybe Dr. Aphra. There's a lot of really awesome characters in the new expanded universe that you could just kind of throw in and it'll be easily done. Unlike Senpai Nick, I want more Boba Fett because I feel like that has kind of been a long thing that Star Wars fans have been waiting for. Was like, yo, did Boba Fett survive? Like what's going on? Did he just get eaten in Return of the Jedi and that's it? So yeah, let's see Boba Fett go on, and like he's a good guy now, right? So that's also weird too. Yeah. I mean, I listen. Hey, all I'm saying is like Luke Skywalker. They literally passed each other at the end of that Mandalorian series. I don't know what happened, but he was cool enough to help out Mando and everybody. So I don't know what's gonna happen. It's so weird too because if you read the Bounty Hunter comics, this man is like so violent when he kills people, like super duper violent, man. It's just like what happened? Yeah, no, like it's just like, was he like, did he have therapy sessions inside the Sarlacc pit? Like what's going on? Like what is with this atonement? But yeah, I'm excited for everything. I cannot wait for the Ahsoka series. I think the Kenobi series and the Ahsoka series might be some of the best Star Wars we've seen. And I just feel like there's just gonna be so much like Force knowledge and world building, and I can see the Kenobi series going terribly wrong, where like Darth Vader and Kenobi fight each other, and I'm just like, I don't really think that they should be fighting each other because I feel like they fight for the first time in A New Hope. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's flashbacks the entire time, or dyad stuff that we've never seen between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. I don't know, but I'm excited. If Kathleen Kennedy wants to go on for another 10 years, I think she absolutely deserved that because of how much money she has made with the sequel trilogy. And at The Mandalorian, are we just going to forget about how good The Mandalorian is? She's also in charge of that. So, I mean, although we know who's writing it, we know who's directing it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm giving Jon Favreau at least 60% of that credit.
Yeah, no, yeah, but at the end of the day, she's the one that says yes or no. So if I can get video games, as much video games for Star Wars as I'm getting for shows in the future, then yeah, I mean, she can stay. I don't care. That's fine.
I think for Obi-Wan series too, like a dream episode for me would be the Twin Sons episode from Rebels.
Yes. Yes.
Where he gets that closure with Maul and getting to see a live action what's his face?
Ray Park.
No, well, yes, but the kid from Rebels.
Ezra.
Yeah.
Ezra.
Live action Ezra,
Yeah.
like that it would just be really, really cool to get that episode in, like with real life characters, getting Ray Park and I'm so bad with names, you guys.
Ian McGregor.
The guy that's Obi-Wan.
Ian McGregor. Yeah. Ian McGregor.
Yeah, to get them together to do that scene would just be like, it would be amazing. Especially because Maul's kind of just like out of it at that point, and he doesn't even like realize that he's dying in that moment, and like it's a tearjerker for sure. Like it's such a cool scene in animation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, go Evo.
No, you're fine. I think at that moment, it's been fascinating to me to see on different social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, the different analysis to that final duel between Obi-Wan and Maul, just from them looking at the stance that they used in the duel. Like that was one of the most fascinating things to me, just to watch people analyze the stance solely in the duel.
Yeah, I don't think how many people really understood that when they first saw it, because I think a lot of people, and you guys can please shut me up, but yeah, I think a lot of people kind of like, they hate on Rebels, but I feel like Star Wars Rebels has some of the best storytelling when like its highs are really high. Just like Clone Wars, I can't sit here and tell you like, oh yeah, Clone Wars is the best Star Wars ever. No, you guys remember Jar Jar Binks running around and like in those episodes with the droids and everything? No.
Droid episodes. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, now there's a droid episode where, C-3PO and R2-D2 like literally power down because they're about to lose power. I was almost bawling that episode. But, there's some episodes that I definitely skip. But when it comes to Rebels, and I look at, you have season 7 for Clone Wars. You have the Mandalorian arc for Clone Wars. And then, you have the Darth Maul. And then you have the Mortis arc. Like, there's a lot of really great arcs for Clone Wars, but like Rebels arcs, there's only like 3-4 seasons, but some of those arcs are just so good. And I like, just like the Twin Sons. That's straight up some of the best Star Wars. Like straight up.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people write it off because of the animation style, and it's hard to get into because it feels like it's a little more for kids, but realistically, none of the Star Wars properties as a whole have ever dealt with like the mysticism of the Force as much as Rebels does, besides like maybe 2 episodes of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And also, as far as I know, Rebels is like the only one that ever even pays attention to the stances when they're fighting.
Yeah.
They literally give them names and numbers, and they've never touched on that in any other training montage, as far as I remember.
Yeah, for the most part, I would say it's a pretty accurate analysis, especially like the Bindu and what's happening with Sabine Wren, and the Darksaber, and then Kanan teaching everything. Like, dude, like that is such a good like arc for Sabine Wren and everything, because at the most, at the end of the day, I think everybody likes Jedi and Sith and stuff, but it just goes to show you how much larger everything is. I can say the one thing I did not like aboutRebels was the lightsabers, man. I just did not like.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Dude, I really hate it. Like they were like I just like
what are they, rubber bands? Are they rubber bands?
They're like needles now, bro. That's what it is. So, man. Yeah.
I want to say, and please don't attack me right off the bat. When I found out about the Clone Wars and the Rebels series, I was a little skeptical at first to watch them because I had that first impression. I thought maybe that they were going to be geared more towards kids of younger age. We'll just leave it at that. Younger generation. But when I looked at it, the original uncanon Clone Wars series, I remember every Friday, or I think it was every Friday or every Saturday, how excited I used to get for that, 5-10 minutes that you would get for each one of the episodes. I don't think that anything could beat the moment of waiting for that episode to come on. I would run to the TV. Mom, you gotta turn the TV on. I got 5 minutes.
Oh, the original Clone Wars?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I think
that's
the original
score stuff right there.
Yes. It gets real down and dirty with General Grievous. I think that really showed the darkness in General Grievous, the darkness you get out of him in these episodes.
The kill it, bro.
I think, honestly, in my opinion, I think Obi-Wan is going to be great just to see Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen back together. Honestly, like, I remember getting the Blu-ray series for Revenge of the Sith and just watching all the behind the scenes and all the bloopers, and you see how long they actually practice that lightsaber duel. So they have the teamwork there. It's there. So it's only right to bring them back in the Obi-Wan series, in my opinion. Boba Fett, I don't know what to expect out of it, in my opinion. I expect good things, but I'm not really sure what we're gonna get out of it, because Return of the Jedi, he falls in a Sarlacc pit. What are we going to expect here? And how all of a sudden they see Luke and he has no hard feelings for him. What happened? What happened between there?
That was a long time in between those, though.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
He's just got to be like, whatever.
Yeah,
that-
he's straight up-
Can anybody confirm, is the Book of Boba Fett going to be just a side quest of The Mandalorian, or are we getting two separate series that are dropping at roughly the same time?
So I'm pretty sure Book of Boba Fett is coming out the usual time that Mandalorian comes out. Mandalorian is coming earlier in the next year. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
and
it won't be season 3 of Mando. It will
correct,
be its
yes.
own thing.
Yes, it's gonna be its
I
own.
like it more now.
Yeah, see, and that's why I feel like it's
Share time.
yes, exactly, yes, because that's what I didn't like at the beginning. It's like, well, are we just not going to see Din? What the hell's going on with Baby Yoda? So yeah, I was pretty upset. But then when I found out that it's an entirely separate thing, that's going to be hype, because then we might see like Bosk, Dengar, Black Chrysanthemum, like all these peeps, Yeah, so I'm down. Let's go.
I feel like they're probably. Do you guys remember the game that got scrapped? I think it was called like 1313.
Yeah, yes, Star Wars 13.
I think they're gonna pull as much character development and story that they can from that game and kind of transition it over to the Hutt world with Boba, because they had so much written for that game that's mostly just developed for the underworld of Star Wars. Like, it's just a really good source that they already have on file. I think they'd be stupid not to just dig into that, really.
Yeah, bro, just make another game. Just take that game and make a new game.
Please.
Bro.
I just
so bad.
I just wanted to take a second. It looks like our friend Marsh has snuck into the chat. Hello, Marsh.
Hi, everybody.
She did have some things that come up, so I did tell her it was still clear for her to move into it, and we had some quick edits. But Marsh, I want to hear your opinion. Amina, I also want to hear your opinion. We'll start with Mina. What is your opinion? I haven't really got to hear too much of your opinion.
On the New York shows?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I was saying that I definitely think that. Why are you laughing at me, Marsh?
I'm just smiling.
I know. I definitely think that. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to say. You guys were talking about the last 3 movies, and I just kind of feel like they fell a little flat. I wasn't the biggest fan of Rogue One either. So, and I know, unpopular opinion, I'm sorry.
Hey,
No, I actually think that's actually kind of popular. I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
I think the people that like Rogue One are actually more so in the minority than anything else.
Agreed.
Very much.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like, half of it. And then I liked, what's his name? He was a youngling who was able to get his crystal, but unable to actually form his lightsaber. What's his name? Blanking. He was the one that had the fight.
I so many. I mean,
He was the blind one with the cane, and inside the cane he had the white kyber crystal in there. What's his name?
oh, are you talking about the one that taught everybody at the?
I am one with the Force is with me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, you're talking about
That guy.
Shuret. Oh,
Yes.
oh.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a Jedi.
I said he was unable to make his lightsaber though, remember? Because of the wars happening and everything, he was a youngling at the time, and then he was never able to train or do anything. So it's I definitely think there's a lot of plot points in there that's super awesome. And they could definitely, like you guys have been saying, like in all the new shows, they can definitely pull in a lot of that information, a lot of things that like we don't really know about. Cause like no one ever talks about him, you know? And then like no one ever talks about like or what is it, like how they had the game that like blended in with Rogue One, and then like, you know, there's a lot of things that people are like, well, I want more from the game, and then now like they might be getting it because in the new shows we might find out new things about some of these characters that we didn't know about. So I definitely agree with a lot of like what you guys are saying. Like there's just so much they can do to where they won't mess it up, but also again, like Kenobi, Boba Fett, those are the two things that I'm like worried about them messing up. I really hope they don't. But high hopes.
And I don't disagree with you at all. I really hope that they absolutely blow us away with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan.
Definitely.
Marsh, I kind of want to hear what your input is on the up and coming shows, i.e. Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Bad Batch. That's kind of what we've been discussing. What's your input?
Well, first off, I haven't seen all of Clone Wars, so there's that. So I don't have an opinion on Bad Batch because I don't know much about them. And I haven't finished Clone Wars because of the droid episodes and stuff that y'all were talking about earlier. They're just not. They just completely turned me off of it. Like I got to season 2, and I was like, I'm out. I can't do it anymore.
Start season 3, and you'll be
You get a Jar Jar romance episode. Like, how can you beat that?
10 out of 10, I recommend.
Hang on, give me 2 seconds, y'all. I'm being yelled at. I apologize.
But that's what I was saying. I mean, you know, you guys know me, man. I'm a more positive Star Wars person, you know. But at the same time, yeah,
The minority.
No, I mean, like, it's more so like, all right,
It's
listen,
good though. It's good.
It really
like,
is.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, listen, fam, this ain't it, you know. But at the same time, I can't hate either. But yo, those droid episodes, or not even just season 1 and 2 of Clone Wars, are the softest, you know. It's not.
Yeah. It just keeps getting better. That's the good thing. Like it just does this. Like it never really dips down again.
Yep, only go up, baby.
So it kind of starts off. It starts off like really slow, and then it plateaus for a second, and then it just skyrockets.
Yes.
And see that's exactly what I've heard. It's just a matter of me. Like I can't. So my biggest thing is I restarted season 1 and season 2 like 3 times. 'Cause I can't. I have to like know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even if you do skip it, it's hard.
Yes, that cool teacher. She has not finished it.
Kind of just sat through it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make myself eventually go back through it and finish it. Boba Fett, I'm kind of, from what I can hear, Nick isn't too into Boba Fett. So...
No, sorry, so huge confusion. Nick thought Boba Fett was going to be a storyline in Mandalorian, and I was like, I don't want them to share. I'm really excited about Boba Fett.
Okay, sorry.
Now.
Okay, my bad.
Bam.
Boba Fett's never been really something that I've been super interested in. I have a really, really good friend who's like super into Boba Fett. Like one of our favorite inside jokes is he had friends over and like he had just met some people and he goes, "Do you want to see my Boba Fett?" And it was like this little action figure of Boba Fett that he went and got and showed everybody. So everybody calls him Boba.
What a legend.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't get the hype of Boba Fett. Maybe that's just me. Like, he was kind of cool in Return of the Jedi, and then he fell in the Sarlacc pit, and then I didn't think about him ever again. Like, whereas other people were like, Boba Fett's the super coolest. He was supposed to be like super badass, you know, kind of like Captain Phasma. She kind of fell flat for me too.
Ugh.
So
Smacked it.
I mean...
Smacked the topic.
She fell flat for me too. She was supposed to be super badass, and it just didn't. Fell super flat.
Darius,
Like...
the thoughts?
I mean, I sense no lies detected. That's all I'm saying. You know? Because, Captain Phasma, I came in, I was like, yo, let's go. You know, the Game of Thrones actor. I can't remember her name for the life of me. But yeah, I was like, oh, wow, she's going to kill people, you know? And then she did it. And then that was it. And even The Last Jedi, too, like there was I don't know if anybody saw the deleted scenes, but like she survived and then she got shot, you know? But then it was like, okay, but like, is she dead or is she not dead? And then Rise of Skywalker not bringing her back, and then they have an entire book. And I don't know if you guys ever read that. I'm one of those people that read it. And like her entire book is literally about she survives. Like that's her. Like she survives no matter what, and she didn't. So yeah, and Boba Fett. So.
Hey, I'm a stormtrooper. I used to be. I can hold a lightsaber. I can fight with a lightsaber, and then I'm irrelevant.
Yep.
Yeah. I just don't want to talk about that much.
No.
My bad. Sorry. I didn't.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I am hyped about Obi-Wan though.
Let's go.
I don't.
Favorite character, so I'm super hyped.
I just hope. So Nick and I kind of talked about this before. In the Clone Wars, they showed Obi-Wan's, I guess, personality. In Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones, you don't really see his personality. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts on that topic.
Can I give my inflammatory Obi-Wan theory?
Yes, go for it. Go for it.
Everyone hear me out before you freak out, but here's the thing. If you watched Clone Wars, if you've read some of like the extended universe stuff, like you know that Obi-Wan is this complex, really, really cool character that understood what Anakin was going through like more than they ever got to talk about. And like there's relationships and like love interest, and like he was a dude that really lived his life before he got entangled in the Clone Wars. And the show The Clone Wars really lets him live out that character development, and it's awesome. Ewan McGregor plays the character amazingly. Wonderful actor. I love him to death. I couldn't picture anyone else playing him at this point. But The Clone Wars, the movie, and Revenge of the Sith, for the most part, do him so dirty in that they give him almost zero character development. Sometimes he has like this really boisterous character where they kind of start to show off his personality, and then they just kill it again in the next scene. The writing's terrible. It's not his fault, but like that character was just written so terribly. I am hopeful that they will take more cues from Dave Filoni and the Clone Wars side of things than they will from the movies, because the movies just killed Obi-Wan for so many people. And I know so many people my age that hate the character Obi-Wan Kenobi because they only know him as an old dude and the shitty movie version. So like if they can play it out as the cartoon character, I think it's going to be an incredible series. I think Ewan McGregor's going to be able to act out these amazing scenes that just give so much breadth to the character. Like if we get flashbacks when he rushes to Mandalore to save the queen before it's too late, like, oh my god, dude, that scene's gonna kill me. Like that's gonna be amazing. So I have a lot of hope for it, but I'm really skeptical too that they're gonna try to shoehorn him too much into that movie version of the character, and it's gonna suck if that happens.
Yeah, I feel like it's so funny because I was never really harped on Obi-Wan Kenobi until like I started watching Clone Wars, and then like season 7. Spoilers, I don't know if I want to say, but he's all like, "Say hello to Padme for me," and I'm just like, "Wow, he knows," So, yeah, who didn't know, So, but yeah, but then it's me. For me, it's more like, I don't see it's Obi's fault because of Anakin's downfall. It's more so like Qui-Gon dying, because when I see Anakin, I don't see him trusting or respecting Obi-Wan as much per se, because Qui-Gon was kind of that savior, and then I felt like Obi-Wan was just kind of there because and that's the thing too, is like I don't want to say like Obi-Wan Kenobi was like shit in the prequels, but like, yo man, this guy, like one of the first things he says in the Phantom Menace is like, "Why do I feel like we've picked up another useless life form?" I was just like, bro, like that's your future apprentice. What are you saying?
Not ready to be a teacher. Like he was very much just chilling on his own, like a new knight. Like he didn't want that. Yeah, he was very much not about that life.
No, dude, and then Qui-Gon's burning, and then he's all like, "Yeah, I'm gonna teach you to be a Jedi, by the way." So.
Like Yoda said, "I gotta be nice to you now."
Anakin was the father, wasn't he?
Oh man.
I'm just gonna, Nick, on your input on him in the movies, I'm just gonna say flat out that the movies weren't meant for Obi-Wan's story, they were meant for Anakin's story.
Yeah.
Therefore it was
Perfect.
more written for him.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Now I would have loved to see more character development in Obi-Wan, because you can't have, he's another main character and we don't really know anything about him. at least in the movies.
He's from Stu John. The planet was named by Jon Stewart.
90% of casual Star Wars fans, that is their only knowledge.
Right. No,
Is those
I
movies.
completely.
They aren't consuming all this other stuff we are.
Yeah, not like me. Yep.
That was until Satine, right? That's her name.
Yeah.
Satine Wren.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Queen Satine.
No, Satine Touches. Not Sabine.
Oh.
Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry.
You're good.
Well, then see, like them having Mandalorian again. That might be just another thing because the sister was there. That there you go. There's your lead into that character. So
They've got to run
Big
into
hopes.
each other again at some point.
yeah, big hopes.
Well, and at the end of Rebels too, you have Sabine and Ahsoka going off to find Ezra. Like that's what Ezra wanted her to do after all. Like it took her a long time to figure it out. She got a haircut. I love how the cartoon subtly makes Ahsoka look older. Like they do a really good job of aging her just a little bit.
Just
And
enough.
it takes a while to notice it, but all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're doing a good job with this. But like the owl. When I finally noticed the owl, dude, like it was crazy. I had to Google. I was like, has it been there the whole time? And it really has.
Yeah.
It's such a perfect, like, I want to find out what happened to Sabine because she doesn't show up in The Mandalorian. But they have such a perfect segue to bring together all of those storylines kind of at once. Really introduce Thrawn, maybe Ezra, definitely Sabine, the reunion between Bo-Katan and Ahsoka more, and then obviously Bo-Katan and Obi-Wan really know each other. Like they've fought together side by side. So it's so many cool characters that have been all over the universe for the last 30 years that can finally come back together potentially.
Yeah, it's coming.
I feel like it's gonna be Endgame in Star Wars form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Eventually.
so
Okay, I got it. I took a minute to figure out what we're talking about, but I got.
so
Like Endgame, what?
So real quick, Marsh and Mina, I'm not sure how much of a reader you guys are. I don't know if you've read The High Republic, so we're gonna kind of lead into that.
Okay.
I know Dagavir is dying to talk about it. I watched his video and I had to watch it again today because he's right on point. You start off the start of the book. You start off learning this character, and then all of a sudden, bam, she's dead. Bam, she's dead. How do you feel that they did with that, Dagavir? And Nick, how far into the book are you? Because I don't want to spoil
Let me
anything.
check.
These are
I'm
the new
30
ones, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So then it was
Light of the Jedi?
comics
Yes.
and then the book. Right?
Yes.
Is that
No.
the
So
order?
it's the Light of the Jedi book, and then after that it's the High Republic comic, and then after that
Okay.
it's the second book, and then it's the second comic. Just read Light of the Jedi first, and then do whatever the hell you want after that. I don't think anybody cares because they're
I
all
honestly just watched synopsis of it.
yeah. No, I mean 'cause this is where it's like, well, how much do you really love Star Wars? Because it doesn't mean you love Star Wars any less. It's just how much Star Wars can you actually take, So just if you want to watch a video, no one's gonna judge you. It's okay, all right?
I've just read all the stuff that's considered legend now, so I mean,
Yeah.
that's where I'm at, and so like I don't know. And I've started this book y'all are about to talk about. I'm like 30 pages into it, but
Yeah. It's for me like Legends is so hard right now because you have the new canon, the Disney canon, and there isn't a lot of that. So, and to my knowledge, it's easier to do that because you don't have to like, geez, the Legends library is hundreds
so
of
big.
stuff.
Oh my
Yeah, no, and I'm just like, what? No, what are you doing? Like just do this. So, I mean, if you do Legends, I would say like just straight up, just do the Bane trilogy books, and then do the Darth Plagueis novel, and then do Heir to the Empire, which is after,
Mhm.
and then that's it.
My neck is starting to tingle right now.
Favorite books.
My
Yeah,
neck is
just-
starting to tingle right
Like,
now.
such a cool story.
I
Yeah.
read so much Legends though, it's ridiculous. Like it's
Yes, I mean it's yeah, I mean because most of them, there's a lot of really bad Legend stuff,
there are
but
bad ones.
yeah, but most of them, especially the ones I just named, like oh my god,
yeah.
So, but yeah, the High Republic stuff. I don't know if anyone's like like Nick, I didn't know you were reading that. That's actually pretty hype, and I think everybody should at least try to read Light of the Jedi, or if not, just watch a video. It's okay. It's okay. You know, it's okay. Because I feel like this is good Star Wars. I don't think it's like amazing Star Wars. I don't think it's like the best Star Wars ever. No, but I think it's good Star Wars because this is a good time to understand where potentially some of the new content could be. You know, we have the Acolyte, which is going to be a new show. This is going to be like 200 years after Light of the Jedi, and it's like 50 years before the Phantom Menace. I didn't do math, so please don't come at me. So it's good to understand the world setting and the world building. But I think the characters are awesome. I think even in the newest book that they have, the Into the Dark, I think those baddies that they bring in that character are freaking awesome, and that's the whole reason I read that book. There's a couple points that just aren't so great, and it's a lot to take in because you're introduced to characters and then they die, and it's just like, what the hell is happening? And there's a lot to take in. You would probably have to read that book like 2 or 3 times if you're someone like me who just forgets stuff. So I think it's good, and I think everybody should at least try it because I think the High Republic is some pretty good Star Wars, and if you're listening to people on the internet, you're gonna miss out, straight up.
I agree. One thing that I do want to point out, I feel like they did try really hard in certain areas. I'm not going to dive too deep into those areas, just for certain reasons of my own. But I think it's like a new way for Star Wars to just bring people in, and then all of a sudden my ship's being ripped apart. You know, like it's like you're like, all right, I'm getting into this character, and then all of a sudden this big thing is in the what?
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
But Marsh and Mina, if you do decide to read into it, definitely keep me up to date on how you guys feel about it, because they are good reads, because it's different Star Wars. It's not the same Star Wars you see in the movies, or you know what I mean.
A little more Wild West Star Wars, I guess.
Yes.
So, like, not really.
Wait, I
guess, like, if you were comparing it to like our history, I would very much compare it to like that time when we were trying to settle west, where like the East Coast or like Coruscant, you know, the core worlds, very established, the newest technology, things like that. But the further out you get, the further to the Wild West you get. It's very disconnected, travels harder. They do a really cool job of like explaining a lot of technology that's just everyday commonplace in the Star Wars that we know, you know, like hyperlanes and how they discovered that, like prospecting hyperlanes. Such a huge new concept back then for them, which I really like the new bad guy that's introduced. I think that whole concept is really cool. Without ruining anything, the whole paths concept, I worry that like they're not going to have a good way to explain how we've just never seen that again in Star Wars, that people do that. But I have like 300 pages left, so there might be something that I'm missing still. But other than that, like the continuity with the book, they do a really good job of like establishing a good timeline that fits in with everything else. The name drops of Yoda randomly really blew me away the first, like I had to go back. Like I just read Yoda's name and kept going and then stopped and went back. I was like, wait, Yoda? And start doing the math. Like, God, Yoda was so old. Like, but the math works out. If you go back and you look at what age they say he was when he died, like it actually works out that he was alive back then, and he was already old enough to be on a hiatus. So it's like Yoda's literally just been around forever. But it also strengthens the whole Grogu being 50 but still just a baby. Like that just makes way more sense.
Agreed.
Like I don't know, like Evo said, some of the things that they try to do just like development wise with the story is a little weird. Not even story, just characters. Like they just push a lot of stuff in your face. But if you can get past that, like it's well written. The way they jump between characters and stories to build pieces, like when you figure out what it was that was blocking the hyperspace lane, you've seen it from like 4 different people's perspective by then. Like it's really cool that you finally get that last little piece from the little kid and you're like, ding, it was this the whole time. So it's like I'm excited to see where they go with the story. There's a lot of opportunity for brand new bad guys, because like, you know, this is right after the great battle with the Sith, so there really isn't any like darkness in the galaxy right now. It's all about the light. They talk about that very much. I think they do a really good job of describing how people see the Force too. That was
Ooh,
really
yeah.
cool.
Yes, yes.
First time they kind of explain how like every Force user sees and feels the Force in a different way, and they describe like how one guy sees it as like an ocean, one lady hears it as like a song. So that was really cool for me. It's just really well written, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this author wrote one of the Thrawn books too.
So, okay, so from what I understand, Light of the Jedi, that is Charles Soule. He did all the he's doing the Star Wars comics now, the official Star Wars comics now, and he also did the Vader comics.
Oof.
Oh, okay.
Oof.
So that's why I was just like, yeah, exactly, yes. So, and then the second
Has
book,
experience with telling Star Wars stories.
right? Yeah, and the second book was Claudia Gray. She's been doing Star Wars for quite a bit now. And then I think a couple of new writers. I don't know, like Kevin Scott. I think is doing a lot of the comics for the High Republic. But I don't know what he's done outside of that. I think he maybe done Doctor Who. I don't know, but I like the comics, so solid. I think Timothy Zahn. No, I don't think he's doing High Republic stuff. That's like
That's who it is. Yeah.
because Timothy Zahn is just doing the Thrawn books because there's like a million Thrawn books he's doing now apparently. So
That's who I'm literally, out of all the Star Wars TV shows on Disney Plus, that is the one character I'm most excited for, hands down. And if they nail that blue skin with the red eyes and that voice, like, oof.
yeah, I'm trying not to talk too much, but someone else go.
I think we have a lot in the future of Star Wars. I think that there's a lot of pieces in place for some really, really big things. I absolutely love how they played Ahsoka in the Mandalorian series. As soon as, just hearing her theme music in the show, immediately I got chills just thinking about it. I think one of the greatest things that Star Wars did was Ahsoka.
Did any of you all go online and be like, why is it so short? Why aren't they longer? Her little things.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I know somebody who did a video on this. Who did a video on this.
Don't take that as a yes.
I wasn't upset or anything. I just mentioned it. I was like, well,
I had to ask.
Yeah, I was just like, well, her, it wasn't long enough.
Maybe they get shorter as they get older.
Yes.
You know what? I'm not judging. It's fine.
I was worried though that the first time I heard her speak, it was going to throw me, and I wasn't gonna be in it.
Same.
It was close enough that it never was an issue for me.
You almost
sounded
couldn't
good.
tell.
It was believable.
You almost couldn't tell.
I mean, like if you're not nitpicking, you really can't.
No. There's some times where she sounds almost like Ashley, and I was like, "Is there a voiceover?" No, it's just,
Right?
Yeah.
Is she just lip reading? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, and that's like with Thrawn too. That's kind of what I was worried about. Is like that voice is so iconic now in my head, but I'm less worried now because I think they'll pull it off okay. And like even one of my favorite castings of all time now is Saw Gerrera in Rogue One, because the cartoon character sounds so much like Forrest Whitaker that you don't believe it's not him voicing it in the cartoon the whole time. That when he gets older in Rebels, it's even more believable that it's Forrest Whitaker and it's still not him. And then you get to the movie and he embodies that character that you feel like it was him the whole time. It was such a good casting that like I really need to have a little more faith in their ability to pick people to play their characters.
Well, Thrawn is getting played by the character that plays him in Rebels, the actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, at
You
least
just made my day.
That's the rumor,
Oh, so hang on, wait a minute.
Looks
Hang
like
on,
Goliath.
It's a rumor. It's not fact.
Yeah. No, but
But Dagger said it as fact, so like
the people that are reporting it are people who are, they're especially the people that I like talk to. They're actually, they have a decent track record. So
he has people in Disney.
I don't, not yet, but I know people that know people, you know.
Okay,
But,
so real quick, I know Dagavir's got a really short timetable here. Does any of you guys have any questions for him before he does have to jump off here?
I haven't got a message yet, so I think I'm okay to go like another 15 minutes. But
Okay.
it could just be like between me and you all, okay?
Okay.
But then-
Okay. Okay.
Starts whispering.
Hey.
Hey. I gotta go do some Twitter things. Sorry. So,
You are talking sequels. You wanna talk-
listen, I still think that the biggest thing of all is I absolutely adore the prequels more than any of the other ones. Hate me for it.
No, I'm the same way. I love the prequels so much.
I
mean,
think I don't think you could match the beginning of episode 3 with the way that they did it. Let's hear opinions.
I like episode 3, and I like the epic lightsaber battle between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And you can throw Attack of the Clones out the window and you wouldn't miss anything. And look,
Hot take.
I want to like Attack of the Clones. Okay, let me start back over. From like a kid standpoint, they're super awesome. I love them because they're Star Wars films. There's lightsabers. There's cool stuff. However, then you try and muddy everything in there with like politics and stuff, which is I get you have to have in order to get to where they go in 4, 5, and 6. But when I was a kid, I didn't really care for it. Not a fan. But like I said, I like 1, I like 3, 2. It was fine.
Do you think? I don't know. Well, what do you think about the sequels? This is just a question.
The sequels?
Yeah.
Like 7, 8, 9?
Yeah.
I like 7.
Okay, so if you're a kid, and this is for everybody in here, so if you're a kid, that's same kid, and you watched 7, 8, 9, do you think that you still like 7, 8, 9? Or sorry, do you think that you like 7, 8, 9 more?
I mean, I would probably like 7, 8, and 9 more because they were the ones I grew up on. If that makes sense. And granted, I did grow up on 1, 2, and 3. Those are the ones that I saw in the movie theaters. Those are the ones I saw 3 like 8 times in the theater when I was like 14. But I don't know. I just like I liked 1. I went and saw that in the theater with my dad, and I really, really liked it because I thought lightsabers were cool.
Yeah, ain't wrong. Yeah.
And then I went and saw 2, and I don't know, like it was fine. Certain parts were cool, but like some of it wasn't believable. Like I feel like the whole scene on Geonosis where Anakin and Padme are like on the little thing, the conveyor belt or whatever.
Yeah,
that could have been thrown out. I thought Dooku was a compelling villain. I like Dooku a lot, but I also like Christopher Lee. So
yeah. Did you know he was supposed to play Tarkin? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He was supposed to play Tarkin. He was and then I can't remember the exact name, but the person that plays Tarkin, they were actually like best friends. So it's like a cool like thing, you know, like they probably could have played each other's roles. So. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's the thing is like I feel like a lot of people, especially when they get older, you know, because I remember, Phantom Menace was awesome, Darth Maul, let's go, you know, and then Attack of the Clones. I was getting older, you know, and the time Revenge of the Sith that came out, I think I was in like sophomore year of high school, and that's when everybody started to get. Or no,
I wonder what happened to Ezra after the space whales stole him.
So, hey,
I wouldn't have been that old. So
yeah, I was like in there. I don't know. But I remember high school was the point where everybody started to get this knack to hate things, you know. And I'm not saying to this, like, you have your own opinion, whatever. But I remember me thinking Star Wars was this hot shit, you know, like they could do no wrong. And then when Revenge of the Sith came out, I remember all these kids that like Star Wars were talking about, yeah, man, George Lucas doesn't know what he's doing, man, you know. And I was just like, I was just like what? Wait, this is like the greatest movie I've ever seen. What are you guys talking about, you know? And then after that, like there was this rumor going around that George Lucas was going to remake 4, 5, and 6. And I remember everybody in the school was talking about it, and they were so mad that George Lucas was ruining Star Wars, you know. And recently, I had had my girls, like cousins, watch all the Star Wars movies, and the ones that they love the most are the sequel trilogy, like straight up. And like every kid, you know, that and apparently like they all love the sequel trilogy. So like it's just like at the end of the day, you know, like maybe like we're kind of the ones out of touch, you know?
I think you really brought me around to this the first time we talked about it. And the more I watch people talk about it, I really do think it is which ones you saw first. And I don't mean even like just like viewed first, because you like Marsh, you probably saw the original trilogy before you saw the prequels, but the ones that stick in your memory is the ones you saw first. And so like for me, being a little older, I had watched Empire and Jedi 1,000 times. I'd seen the original trilogy in theaters with new footage even before Menace came out.
Right.
Menace for me was really boring. I thought midichlorians were stupid. But then like the pod racing stuff was cool, and then like the end of the movie is awesome.
Yeah.
For Clone Wars, I never really got why that was my dad's favorite out of the original or the prequels. Like it never really made sense to me growing up, but he will watch that one endlessly. And I get it now, and I'll explain why in a second. But then Revenge was awesome. I was old, it had all the action, it kind of tied everything up. You got to see him become the bad guy. That was cool. Clone Wars was awful as a kid though. Like it was just so boring. Like I couldn't dig it. But as I'm older now, I love that movie. And I think it's because like in high school and college and even now, like I'm a political nerd, and it's cool seeing like the ramifications truly on a galactic global scale of what happens when you let things like that run amok with government. And it's really interesting, and they do a really good job of making it as realistic and believable as possible. And the Clone Wars TV show does it too, but they dumb it down a little bit, and like they only bring in the politics when they really need to push the story forward. But I appreciate that movie a lot more now, and I enjoy it. It's still not my favorite, but and I think it's why I don't, people my age, and especially my dad hates the newest 3 movies. Like he cannot stand them. He wanted to walk out of the theater, and that's our tradition. Like we have gone to every single Star Wars movie in the theaters together. Like I used to drive home from college to go to them with him. And I understand why we don't like the newest 3 as much. It's because we've been waiting for payoffs to so many stories for so long, and they had to bring in all these new people to try to figure out how to tie in new stories with old stories. And sure, they didn't do a great job of getting all the directors on the same page like Marvel would or something. But if you take yourself out and look at it in a vacuum, they're good movies. There's plot holes, but they're good movies. They're entertaining. They continue the Star Wars legacy. They tell some really cool stories. The action's pretty great. And I can see why little kids are attracted to them the most. You know, BB-8's so cool compared to R2-D2. Like I'm attached to R2-D2 because of the adventures he's had.
Exactly.
His memory's never been wiped, you know? Like that's why I love R2-D2. But BB-8 is a way cooler droid. C-3PO was like the most annoying droid in the world, but I'm attached to him because he's been everywhere.
3PO's my favorite. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll never forget
to that.
So when the first new one came out, Force Awakens, I took my dad to see him, and that has become our tradition as well. We'll go see every new movie that comes out. I'll never forget his reaction to when Han gets killed.
Oh,
he literally wanted to stand up and walk out. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that moment.
Okay, real quick, just because you brought it up. So, building up to The Force Awakens, because I was super hyped for it, and one of my coworkers was super hyped for it. And as we kept getting closer and closer to the movie, I was like, something's gonna happen, and Han's gonna die. I don't know why or where it came from or why it was in my brain, but like I couldn't get it out of my brain. And she accidentally Googled it the same day the movie had come out.
No.
And so she knew what was gonna happen. and I was gonna see it later that night because I hadn't been able to get midnight tickets, and I went and saw it, and I remember when it happened, and like I gasped. My husband looked at me.
Oh
And,
no,
like,
Nick.
I was like almost in tears because like I was just like, I can't believe they actually went there,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I get it from a storytelling perspective for Kylo or Ben or whatever you want to call him. But like loving the original trilogy and then seeing that happen, I don't know, because I like to think that like after 6, like they go off and they, you know, they don't live like the most happiest life. They go and do whatever they do in Legends or whatever.
Mhm.
But to know that they just come back and circle around and they just end up dying for the same cause that they originally, the same cause basically, kind of hurts. And I don't know how else to explain that. It just like, I don't know, like it's almost like their lives didn't really mean much. Or maybe I'm using the wrong terminology, but I just bringing back the original cast for them to only die. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Well, I think I think that's actually a great point, which kind of exposes a lot of not just like Lucasfilm, but Hollywood in general. And there is a pandemic. I'm not talking about COVID, but there is a
Panini.
issue with directors that believe they are writers, and I think that is the main issue when you hire people like J.J. Abrams. You know, and it's not J.J. Abrams is not a bad director. You know, it's just why not hire people who maybe wrote, you know, the expanded universe, you know, like Timothy Zahn or you know all these, or even like someone like George Lucas or something. But even then, like I think The Force Awakens still had what's his face, and he was on episode 5. I think he wrote some.
Kassan,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
It was someone, but I mean, come on now, The Force Awakens I feel like is the best of the sequels, at least for me.
Oh, I
Agree.
No, I
Agree completely.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things where like even as good as The Force Awakens is, there is a lot of issues that like why the hell is Luke Skywalker not in the, by the way, I love the sequels, okay? Oh, no, excuse me, sorry. I love The Force Awakens. I don't like The Last Jedi. I've come to accept it. I don't like The Rise of Skywalker, but I think The Rise of Skywalker has one of the best openings for a Star Wars movie. And I think that there's also really good potential in the movie as well, especially with Rey and Kylo Ren. And I don't know, Kylo Ren is just awesome to me. But anyway, I think when you start The Force Awakens, and this is a movie franchise that, aside Marvel, has done something that really hasn't, well, until now, hasn't been replicated with 3 movies, you know? And when you're waiting for these characters to continue their journey after 30, 40 some years, and you bring him back, and Luke Skywalker's not in the main movie until the end, and then, then he's kind of not the awesome guy that you thought he was in The Last Jedi, and then Han Solo dies, and then they're divorced because for some reason Leia can't deal with Han Solo. It's just, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Stop throwing things. Yeah, no,
Sorry.
it's like I totally understand, because it's just at the end of the day, I think we have to understand that in Hollywood, the only thing that makes sense is the money that's being made. And at the end of the day, all those movies made $1 billion. I think The Force Awakens came out, and before Infinity War came out or Endgame came out, that was like the global record for the movies. I think The Force Awakens was, because it was just everybody was waiting for that movie. So I'm gonna say this, and they better start hiring the actual writers of these of some of these most successful Legend books to write the damn scripts for the next sequels that 10, 11, and 12, because I don't want a damn director doing it. So get your people going and start hiring people who know how to write. Stop being cowards and do it. I'm not, but just yeah,
I love your active aggression towards the writers. Like, what did these directors do to you?
They're not writers, though, they're directors.
Where they had a writer credit, and everyone's like, let's let them play with the best franchise ever.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, listen, it's just like The Last Jedi. That movie put me into depression.
Man.
Yeah, no, I mean that movie put me in depression for like a week. I even I saw it, and then I was so depressed that I literally saw it again, like after, because I was just like, okay, maybe I'm just not vibing, maybe it's just me. And so I went to go watch it again, and I was like, yeah, bro, this is the first Star Wars movie that I don't like. And then, but even then, I can still watch it, and there's parts that I really like. Like all of a sudden, I really love Kylo Ren versus Luke Skywalker, and I think it's beautifully done. Like as in, I think it looks beautiful. I think there's a lot of stuff going. I really wanted Luke Skywalker to do some amazing things, but the one reason why I hated that movie when it first came out is because Luke Skywalker reminded me so much of myself. And a lot of times I had affiliated myself with failure. And that's what essentially that movie is about, is failure and being human.
Oof.
And I was just like, I don't want Luke Skywalker to be me. So,
I think one thing that the sequels tried to do was humanize.
yeah, and I'm okay with that. It's like I said, it's fine now. I'm literally probably gonna go watch Rise of Skywalker after this. But hey, it's Star Wars, and I love it. Anyway, fam, I actually gotta head out. But
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to thank you so much for joining us, and I do hope to bring you on again, and do this again with everyone. Of course, as we start to get more Star Wars in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
So, again, thank you very much, Mr. Dagavir, for joining us, and you have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too, guys. Now you don't have to worry about people talking over you. All right.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Alrighty, guys. Well, just kind of adjust some things here real quick as I stretch my face onto the camera.
Oh, good. My face got bigger. Lovely.
It's like if I scoot back, will it get smaller?
Also, I just want to bring up that I didn't realize this until I talked to this with one of my friends, but The Last Jedi is the only Star Wars movie where you don't see two lightsabers touching.
Like the whole time?
Like the whole time, no lightsabers ever hit each other.
God, no wonder I hate it so much.
Yeah, right? I was gonna be like, oh, okay, makes sense why it's so boring. I feel like that's what we all want. Every Star Wars, we're like, we want to duel, we want to fight something, and then...
I just want to see the real Darth Vader fight Obi-Wan. The real Darth Vader.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, like
I'm
four?
Darth Vader. Darth
Not
Vader
like-
Prime.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Prime Vader, and not
Like, still
old...
looks like Anakin when half his mask cracks away. I want that fight. I want to see that fight.
And not old, decrepit Obi-Wan who's been locked away on a desert
The
planet
Silver
in
Spectre.
sorrow.
But I almost agree with Dagobor though, is that he brought up that he likes to think that in A New Hope is the first time they fought each other since, what is that planet? The fire planet
Mustafar.
Yes.
Mustafar. I mean, I think that's a good theory. Yeah, I couldn't think of what it was called. My brain was not coming up with it. I mean, I don't know. Why would Darth Vader be back? I mean, I guess Obi-Wan can go other places besides Tatooine. But
He doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah, because
I know, he's a hermit, right?
just
There's
watching...
time.
No, but he's watching over Luke. Yeah, so he's like...
Yeah,
his
he's just hanging
uncle-
out the whole time. His
Yeah,
existence
because
sucks.
the uncle doesn't let him go anywhere with him, so it's like, no, sucks.
Well, guys, we've pretty much touched on all of the topics that I had for
Space whales.
the the podcast. I did have a couple things that did come up in chat. Dr. Blue Jay at some point said Chewbacca screaming in his ear. and that cool teacher yelled at Marsh and said she hasn't finished the Clone Wars. And Amanda shared with me as I stepped away for a solid second that she should be removed from the island.
I should be removed from the island?
And then he said, I wonder what happened to Ezra after the space whales stole him. What do you think they're gonna go with that? And this is the last question that I have for you guys. Where do you think that they're gonna go with Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine Wren?
Well, we know Thrawn still exists. From the books, from the extended
Execute Order
universe, we knew,
66.
but now like the show has confirmed that Thrawn is here, so we know he survived that whole thing wherever they went off to. We haven't seen Sabine Wren yet, but we've seen Ahsoka. We know she was looking for Ezra at some point. I mean, it stands to reason if Thrawn survived, Ezra's out there somewhere. He had to have survived at least initially.
Right.
You know, if they did. The thing that bothers me is in the cartoon, like the whales break all the windows, and so like space is just flying in, and it doesn't seem to be affecting them at all as they go off into hyperspace. So that always kind of like bothered me a little bit. But besides that, if Thrawn's alive, Ezra's got to be somewhere.
I mean, Leia floated back. Leia floated back into her ship through space. I mean, if we want to go there.
I mean, Maul was a trash rat too, so I mean.
Exactly. Assaulted Dog, thank you so much for the 200 biddies. But I don't want to take too much more of your guys' time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for stopping in and joining us for Force Fridays this evening. I think we got all the questions out of chat, and do you guys have anything? You guys have anything you guys want to bring up?
I mean, I could talk all day.
And is it? We know, Nick. We know.
Mandalorian yet?
Marsh, I think cancel. You've been canceled.
I've been canceled. It's fine. It's fine.
But like, it got spoiled for you, right? You know what happens.
Yeah, I knew what happened the day the episode aired. Like, it's fine. So yes,
Do you
I know what
looking
happens.
at spoilers?
No, it was on Twitter. You can't escape it if you don't watch it right when it happens. You can't escape it. Like it's there.
You just gotta mute everything.
Right.
Stay off your phone until you watch it. That's it.
when you're like 5 episodes behind, like it's hard to.
Well, you can't get behind.
Wow.
Not in
Thanks,
Star
Dad.
Wars.
Thanks, Dad.
If you'll take as much time to watch Critical Role as you would The Mandalorian, you won't be behind right now.
She
know
also
what? You're
binge
not wrong.
watched. She also binge watched
I
in like
did
2
too.
days. So
I did. Look, y'all, but see, you'll have to realize is that since I haven't watched Clone Wars, like Ahsoka to me is just.
Wow.
I know it's a hot take. I'm sorry. I don't look.
It's
the only
okay.
way-
It's
the
okay.
only way I know her is she's an annoying little.
Exactly. You don't
Yeah.
have the ties to her yet.
Exactly.
You haven't seen that character.
And
grow.
that is exactly how I pictured her when she first came into the series. She comes in as this annoying little kid who just comes into the show out of nowhere. They just throw her in there. And then, I don't know, Nick, if you noticed, and I've heard it all over the internet, but I want to say between 2 and 3, she had a real big growth period. I think it was between 2 and 3, and she completely changed. And right at that point, she starts to really stick to you and grow.
Yep.
So.
Okay. So I need to start so I need to get to season 3 is what I'm hearing.
When you get to season 3, your mind is going to start getting more involved. I promise you.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, I don't want to take any more of your guys' time. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I thank you guys for joining us for Force Fridays. I also want to say thank you to Nick, who helped me almost every step of the way. He actually designed this nice little border around us, and the background that you see. Marsh and Mina, thank you guys so much. I know, Marsh, you came in a little late. I do appreciate you letting us know ahead of time. And Mina, I know I didn't really have a lot of questions geared towards you, but I do appreciate you stopping in just for the general discussion.
Oh, I had fun. It's okay. I enjoy seeing you guys go back and forth. I was learning so much, you know?
Well,
Thank you for letting me join late.
no, it's no worries. It was actually a relatively quick fix. As soon as you joined, I was able to drag the camera into a new spot, and it was really easy to fix. So, anyways, we got some more things coming next week for Force Fridays, and we will definitely see you guys again. And I appreciate everyone for stopping in. Until next time, have a good night.